All right, guys. Hey, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my $2,000 Porsche. This is not my $2,000 Porsche. This is what I bought for $2,250, and then nights, weekends, some professionals, at least one tow truck, and a whole bunch of parts got this guy up to what it is now. So why don't you check it out? I'm going to show you what I've got for you. So this is what a $2,200 Porsche looks like. Listen to that engine purr like a dying kitten. Beautiful. All right, here's some scenes from our discount Porsche. Got some front fender damage, of course. Lots of scratches and scrapes. I don't know if you can see this. I'm not sure what that is. Some type of something sticking out. The side looks okay. Seat, fabulous, one of a kind. Don't see that a lot. You got a ghetto gear shift, which you always want in your Porsche. Radio works. Lighter's out, no big. This is where the back windshield goes. There's a little windshield goes here. That's kind of broken. The back looks as pretty as the front. Bunch of scraps, scrapes, scratches. It's a big scratch. I'm not sure why there's a big X on the back. I don't know. Things just happen. You know what I mean? You don't really know for sure. We had to put 2 tires on the back because they were bald, showing metal. We had to salvage. We're missing 2 lug nuts on one side, 1 on the other. We're missing 1 lug nut each on the front. I think they were wheel locked on there. They eventually pulled off. Lots of scratches on the wheels and tires. You know, but from far enough away, it kind of looks cool. And here's a video with the top up. It's not latched. It may latch, it may not. I don't know. The electronic components for the electric thing don't work. Back rear window, not so good, but we got a bunch of duct tape here, so it might keep the water out if it was out in the rain, although we'll try not to get it rained on too much. But yeah, so that's what you get when you spend $2,000 on a Porsche. There's some oil leaks I saw this morning, and so I've got about $750 worth of parts on the way. So when they get here, we'll start popping them in and see if it runs a little bit smoother. All right, guys, day 1 on the Boxster Project. So $2,250. We're going to see what happens. Maybe a bit of a gamble here. So we've got 10 check engine light codes. We've got backfire, misfires. We've got white smoke. We got a sucking sound coming from the engine. So don't know what's going on. As you recall, we had bald tires. There was metal showing, so we had to get 2 used tires just to get home and made it home. But it was a little scary the whole way. So today we're going to start on taking the tire off, getting into the spark plugs, replace the spark plugs, the tubes. And then we're going to work on the air oil separator. That's hopefully going to take care of that white smoke and the sucking sound. Hopefully no IMS issues, but for $2,000, you just don't know. So let's get started and see what happens.
Instigate, double hit, Lil Wayne with the lighter, do the double flip. My imagination booking, I'ma run with it. I'ma shoot my shot once, I don't wanna miss. Live it up and they can take me to court. I ain't tripping over lust unless it's backyard sports. No shame, this is what we afford. Pops always paid it off before a repo to report. Hop in the van, we sport. Hop in the van, we dort. Yeah. I spend a whole check by the 4th. Spend the next 11 round the porch. Yeah. I've never read the place. I'm posted to the face. We smoking, I ain't pacing. Dumping, I need space and coke with all the change and hope. This ain't something that we planned to do before. Thank God I ain't abort. My old plan put my pops up in a Porsche. I'm in between all the cops and the force, and of course got me on the wrong side of the force. I'm grinding for a summer off a weed test. Me and my brother probably running, thinking we next.
That Audi, that other Audi behind me, consistently when I'm driving this car, everybody's trying to keep up with me or pass me, or often they can, but it's just funny. When I'm driving my Volt, nobody drives 90 miles an hour on the road.
Can't be working on flows. I'm learning now that it's just how it goes. They ain't here, they ain't switch your boat. Can't take the pressure, I need no more stress. Second time I ever pressed reset, I think it hurt me less. Well, less in the head, but might change when they take this tube out of my chest. Hey, yo, looking at my blood like, yo, cancel, where's that though? Filled out of reach, I'm little Nas with a lasso. And I don't think it's finna ever come back, bro. And I ain't waiting on my life to retract, bro. I'm gonna instigate, double hit. Lil Wayne with the lighter, do the double flick. When I go from a child to the stubborn kid, poor parents saw me changing right in front of them. Feeling guilty, I ain't wanna be one of them. But I knew I had a shot, let me touch a pen.
All right, check it out. Here's the box from the good guys at Pelican Parts. I just cut it open. Let's see what's inside. I think this is our spark plugs and good stuff. We've got rings. We got a sticker, which I'm really excited about. This is a spark plug puller specifically for the Porsche. It's a little longer of a tube. We got a tube to go with our air oil separator. If you're getting a revised air oil separator, you're gonna need that tube to make it work. This is our kit for the spark plugs. So the nice thing about Pelican Parts is that, like, hey, if you're gonna do the spark plugs and do it right with the plugs and everything, you can get the entire kit. You just buy one thing and it gives you all the parts that you may need, so you're not gonna miss anything during the process. And this should be our air oil separator. So I'm really excited. I hope this stuff actually works for me and gets my car up and running again. All right, so that's not good. You got about that much oil after 3 or 4 days. So we're gonna flip this up under the engine. You can see right there, it's dripping from there. That's the lowest point. Can't tell if it's coming, how high it's coming from. We'd wiped it down to try to see, but it's really hard to get a good angle on that. So it could be air oil separator. We're gonna start working on that, and then we'll see how we look and see if it's continuing to drip after we repair that issue. Okay, now let's take a look at these spark plugs. We've got the old one on the left, the new one on the right. The new one, nice and cylindrical. This guy's more egg-shaped. You can see where it's been wearing away at that center electrode. So we're gonna replace these. These are cylinders 1 through 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Bank 2 are the ones where we're having the biggest issues, but we just started on this side of the car. So we're gonna replace these as well as 4, 5, and 6, and hopefully that resolves some of that backfiring issue we're seeing. All right. So we're gonna start by hand tightening this guy in here. And then once we get that guy in there nice and good, then we'll grab a torque wrench and we'll torque it down to specs. All right, so we're back at the workbench, which does look a lot like my garage floor. Anyway, so this is our spark plug tube. As you can see, the big O-ring goes in the big part, the small O-ring goes in the small part. We'll insert that back into the spark plug tube hole and then go from there and then seal that back up with the coil. And then we're gonna call this guy good. All right, guys, so taking a look at those coils again, that's coil number 3. So coil number 3, coil number 2, piece of cake. Coil number 1 up near the front end of the car is a little tricky. You can't actually pull it out while it's still attached. So you need to remove this boot back so you can see a little clip inside of here. And then you're gonna push the clip down and pop that guy off. And then you'll be able to remove that. Also, take a quick note. You see this hole? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's a hole right there. There's one similar to it, but the one up near the number 1 hole is really close to where the coil goes in. So if you're thinking, hey, this coil isn't going into the hole, double check and make sure you're not putting it into this hole. And can I just be honest with you guys? Like, it took me a long time to figure out that that was the wrong hole. And you're like, oh my gosh, are you a freaking idiot? What the hell is your problem? Don't you know what you're doing? Yeah, so maybe I do, maybe I don't. And if you're like, hey, should you even be working on your car? Maybe not. But anyway, just if you have a friend who has a similar problem where they try to put this bolt into this hole, just know it kind of doesn't go there. And then after you get all this back reinstalled, you just clip this back into your coil and then push the boot back over to protect the electrical connector. All right, Not that that would ever happen to you, but you know. Okay, so today we're talking about air oil separator. Porsche invented that just to make one other thing to fail in your car. So we got a lot of white smoke coming out the tail. We're gonna give it a shot, replace the part, and then see what happens, huh? All right, so we're gonna access the back of the vehicle, the engine compartment. So we're gonna unhook the roof, make sure it's nice and loose. We're gonna come back here, pull this guy up. There's a couple little straps we undo. Voila, they pop right off. And then we're going to take off the rest of the components. Then what we're going to do is pop up these levers, twist them loose, one on the other side. You've got another one over here. Oh yeah. And then you're just going to pop off these components. They're going to come right out of the vehicle. And the next trick, we've got these little guys, 5 of these rings. They rotate about 90, 180 degrees, and then they come loose. So go ahead and do those and take off that cover. All right, there's our engine, top view. Our ghetto Porsche does not look so ghetto from this angle. So we're just gonna start taking things apart till we figure out what's wrong. Not really, we're gonna do the AOS, and we're gonna use the guys at Pelican Parts. They've got some great online tools. They've got instructions, pictures. I was able to take apart and reinstall the top end of my BMW 3 Series convertible, thanks to PelicanParts.com. So we're going to give them a shot and let them walk us through this process. Here we go. All right, so we're going to take off this initial hose. You just go down here and squeeze this, and it just comes right off like that. That is not for reals. That was already disassembled. Like if you got monster fingers because you're pinching stuff all day long, this is like a piece of cake. But if you're like me and you're typing all day, like it just doesn't happen. So you got to pinch and squeeze and twist. And eventually, if you're lucky, you may actually get this part off all by yourself. The next one is right there at the tip of my finger. Same thing, pinching, pulling, pressing, although it's trapped in there. You can reach it from underneath or on top, but you're not gonna get it out either way. So we might remove a couple of things like this hose here, and then see if we have better access so we can get in there and pinch that thing and get that guy off of the AOS. So we were able to get this guy off and get a little more room in there. And we got both our hands in there to get that guy with pushing from the bottom and the top from both hands, squeezed and wiggled and got that guy off. So the next thing we'll go underneath, remove the 2 bolts, and then remove the AOS. All right, so now we're looking at the AOS from down. I'm coming past the tire and looking around. It's right against the transmission. It's a little dark over there, but you can see it right over there. I already took out the 2 bolts. There they are. It's just a 10 millimeter. I just used a short 10 millimeter to break it loose, and then I grabbed the deep socket 10 millimeter and just used my hands to get it all the way out. Okay, so here we go. You see that little screw right there on that plastic hose? Attaches to the bottom of the AOS. So I saw people trying to remove the top of that hose from the AOS. I'm just going to remove the entire hose at the bottom. Removing that clamp, looks like an 8 millimeter. So we'll put a ratchet on that, loosen that up, and take off that pipe and the AOS assembly. And then hopefully we'll be done taking this guy apart. Wish me luck. All right, there's our AOS. And there's the guy we were taking out before. And no, thanks for nothing. That's a 6 millimeter, not an 8 millimeter. You know, you could have saved me some time if you would have said something. But anyway, we got this guy loosened up. I'm a little bit concerned because it may have originally had one of these snap rings on it, and this may have already been replaced once. I don't know. Definitely this, if you look at this, this gasket O-ring is definitely bent the heck up. So when it was sitting in there on top of the engine, we also needed to pry that little hose at the bottom. This guy was wedged in there a little bit, but with a little wiggling and finagling, we got this thing out. And now we're maybe continue cleaning up other parts of the engine before we put this guy back in. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I hope you liked the videos. I've got a lot more stuff to show, but you're probably done for the day, so go take a break. But ring the bell, and then when I get some more videos posted, you'll know when they come out. And hopefully I get to sell this guy soon, because I need a little bit of money to pay for the other one that's over there. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.